All right. Yeah, I think we're so much better.
What perfume are you wearing?
Oh, it's a mix of Fleur and Fenty. It's the hair and body mist by Fleur, the vanilla skin, and Fenty sample.
Interesting. Did you wear the wedding sandal to our place, or when we were hanging out? Do you have the wedding sandal by Kayali?
I do have it, yeah.
Because there's garbage on your eyes.
No, that's not garbage. That's the powder that went on my god.
Literally, I could see it. Oh my god! I feel like if you zoom in, you could see it. I'm like, just not look at you. Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Ammi and Khala Podcast.
It's going to be a very, very interesting episode that we are going to dive into. As you can tell from the title, all about
taboo topics,
taboo talks in our society.
I guess we already had a little icebreaker. But can I just?
You're gonna find it too sweet.
Oh,
it's salted caramel. Are you gonna puke?
It tastes
Guys, I make good coffee, okay? She just doesn't like it because
you know what?
She likes her coffee way too bitter.
No, you know what? It tastes like I'm drinking straight up creamer.
No, it's not.
Yes, it does.
I literally put like that much creamer, okay?
Let's see, you want to come taste this coffee?
No.
I told him to come to today's episode to talk about being a boy dad and raising boys and stuff. And he's like, I'm not made for mainstream media.
Let's jump into it. We're gonna start off with
about why taboo talks. Obviously, we have a lot of topics that we want to talk about, but this kind of meshes them all together. And we don't talk about these things, which is why they're taboo, but they shouldn't really be taboo. The more we talk about them, the more you'll realize that they're just regular conversations that need to be had, especially with your kids and whatnot.
Yeah. Instead of keeping it all hush-hush, especially in our society and culture that we come from.
Starting off strong, we have the period talk. Let's talk about periods.
Growing up in the same household, we did not have the same experiences, obviously. Me being the brown eldest daughter of the family and her being the youngest.
Yeah, and our introduction to period was very different.
There was no introduction for me.
Okay.
There was no introduction for me. Literally
So how did it happen? Okay, how old were you when you got your first period?
I was in grade 6. I was 11 years old.
That's young. Is that normal?
That's around the normal age range. Yeah, so I was 11. Yeah, and one day, I had this severe, lower back and, the lower abdomen pain, literally the whole day. And I kept on complaining to my mom, and literally the only thing she did was took out my underwear from the wash and checked it. And obviously, she saw what she saw on there.
Wait, you didn't even see it?
No, even if I saw it, I probably didn't think too much of it.
Wow. Do you have an actual memory of you getting it? You feeling like you're getting it or anything at all?
Honestly, no. Again, because it was never
young.
I was 11, yeah, and it was never talked about. And the fact that I had no awareness of my body and, the things that it might be going through, I think the lack of awareness and the lack of talk, obviously. After she saw what she saw, she didn't even come and tell me anything. Even at that point, she ran to my daddy and my pupo, who were in another room.
Congratulations!
And they're like, Mama, tu ba badi ho gayi? I'm like, what was that supposed to mean? Right? Because you're the woman now, technically can get married, apparently.
Can get pregnant.
So that's exact. I literally remember that day it's a photographic memory that I cannot get rid of.
That is so funny.
It's stuck with me. I exactly remember even the underwear that I was wearing, for that matter.
So were you scared?
I think it was a mixed emotion and feeling. I was probably scared and confused and didn't really know what was happening with my body. And the fact that they didn't even bother telling me what was happening with my body. Like what the hell? Like why wouldn't you tell me even at that point?
What the hell, mom? Come on.
To begin with, obviously, when you start your cycles, your body is trying to regulate that whole cycle.
Oh.
And I would get period twice a month.
Damn.
Yeah, and it was like a pretty heavy period. So I eventually had to get on birth control in grade 6 to regulate my cycles for about 6 months. And then I stopped it.
That is
and,
insane. Can we just pause on that? First of all, I think that's ridiculous that you had to go on birth control at
that age.
11
Yeah.
to regulate a period. That just tells you, one, either the doctors haven't done the research one bit. I'm sure there could have been alternatives that could have been presented to you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure even mom going in, she took whatever the doctor said and she's like, yeah, this is it. But were you told that you're going on birth control?
Yes. Again, I didn't know what a birth control was.
The doctor told you?
No, they didn't label it as birth control.
You're going on pills?
Yes. They just told me I'm going on pills.
That pisses me off so much.
And obviously no consent, forget consent, no knowledge sharing with me, the person who's actually going to be taking those pills. And
or what you're going through. And
my mom knew what those pills were.
Yeah.
And for them, it was okay because it was going to help regulate my cycles.
And they didn't know any better.
And you know what? Even till this date, okay, now that I'm finally off the birth control pills after almost a decade. And so I've always had this issue of heavy flow during my periods. And the doctor, literally, I just spoke with my doctor a week ago or just a few days ago. And I was mentioning it to her that, my iron levels are low. And the first thing that comes out of her mouth is, you need to get on the birth control pill to regulate your flow. So your iron levels are now going to drop drastically. I'm like, how is that the first solution you are giving to your patient? Do you have any idea about all the side effects that are related to the birth control pill? I feel like for doctors, it's this is the problem. This is the solution to fix it.
It's like a band-aid.
Right here, right now.
It's not even a solution. It's like a band-aid.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as that problem is fixed, quote unquote, then it's if another problem comes up, we're going to tackle with that later. So they're not thinking of the long run. They're not thinking of all the side effects these pills are having on the patient, but just recommending it on the go, literally.
And you've been on the birth control for quite a few years, I think 7 years or something.
Oh, yeah.
But how that birth control is going to affected you before or had an impact on you, little or no little, or what high impact even, to now when you're in your 30s, it's going to drastically change.
Yeah.
So your experience with birth control is not going to be the same.
Exactly.
Wow.
How was your first period experience?
Oh my God. Okay. So the stark, what do you call it? Comparison or the difference between our experiences. I was also, like you mentioned in the previous episode, I've always been a nosy child. And growing up with older sisters in the house, her or my cousins and stuff, I knew what was going on with them. They would take these pads, they would they would hide them under their shirt, and they would go to the washroom, and they would do all these whisperings. Oh, you got your period? Oh, I'm getting mine these days. And obviously I felt excluded because they're literally, they would be in front of me and we were talking about stuff and making sure that, oh, you can't know this because you're too little. That just made me want to know it more.
Also shout out to my aunt, my pupo, my dad's elder sister. She actually had the period talk with you.
With me?
A little bit. She would tell you. She would talk about it. She didn't specifically sit you down and have a talk, but she would mention it.
I think one of the reasons they mention it is so I don't blab mouth to everyone, oh, they're on their period, they kind of mentioned, told me, okay, you gotta
calm
it down.
Yeah, keep it down.
So I it was actually so funny because I would pick up on so many things growing up. I knew that you would have leg pain or arm pain or all these pains, and then they were waiting for me to get my period too, around the same age as she did, but I didn't get my period until I was 13, I think.
Yeah.
Which was really late for them, and they were super concerned about me getting my period at 13.
But that's still in the normal range.
I think so.
It is.
But I also have hypothyroidism, and that could be why I was delayed than usual.
And you started your thyroid pills when you were 10, 11?
11, 10, 11. But anyway, so I remember I would be sitting, and then I would complain to my mom, Ati and mom would be sitting on the takhat. And then I would be oh, my leg hurts and stuff. And they were oh, is it the left leg? I'm like, yeah, yes. Yeah, it's the left leg and it's the left arm. And like, I was like, you don't try to act because I just wanted the attention at that point. I'm like a 10-year-old.
Can we also talk about how, like, every time there would be like a sanitary pad advertisement on TV, like everyone would rush to grab the remote and just forward the advertisement. Like, why? What was there a need? Like, literally, like, you need to educate not just your girls, but also your boys.
It's like sharam ki baat, which is kind of really stupid. It's a cultural thing, okay? It's not an Islamic thing at all. Because you see, like, let's say there were so many sahabis or sahabiyats who would go to Aisha radiallahu anhu, even the Prophet ﷺ, and like ask him about like the period. They would ask him about the intercourse talk, like the questions. They would ask him about like discharge, like, you know, these women wanted to know everything that they need to know, and they had the source right there, and they didn't feel shy going up to the Prophet and having this and having these questions. So why are we as a culture like shushing women out to talk about what they're going through?
Yeah, not creating that safe space so we can literally go up to our moms, our aunts, and or anyone. Have these conversations.
Or friends, even.
Or friends. Talking about friends, okay? So, I don't know if I should mention it. I'm not going to mention any names, but one of my best friends at the time, okay? I believe she also had hers, like, around the same time as I did, but because I was told not to mention it to anybody, okay? Anybody, like, in the house, outside. In the house, obviously, you know, my elders knew, but outside, like, no one should know that I have my period. So I remember, like, one day I went to her place and I was on my period, and it was her time. So she's like, okay, we need to pray. And I actually prayed. Because
it's so wrong.
Yeah, because I couldn't say that I was on my period.
Honestly, not so wrong because like, oh, you're so impure, you prayed. But like so wrong that you had to go through that.
Yeah.
For what?
Like, and like, why did I need to hide that in the first place? You know?
Lord, okay.
So yeah, very interesting stories about that. Coming to educating our children about that. I have 2 girls who are 9 and they're about to hit their puberty soon. I feel like, because I got my period around 11, I feel like the genes from the mother get passed down, you know, to your daughters. So I feel like they're probably going to get it around the same age. And I have been having conversations with both of them. You know, every time I get my period, like, I tell them that, hey, I'm on my period. And obviously, you know, like, the first 2-3 days are rough. And I make sure I mention that to them too, that, you know, hey, mama's not feeling good because I'm on my period. And, you know, and they ask me questions. They're like, so you're bleeding? I'm like, yes, I'm bleeding, you know. And then they also mention that, hey, mama, I'm scared, you know, like, I'm scared to get my period. I'm like, it's nothing to be scared about.
But it's also okay to be scared.
Exactly. And also, like, this is how Allah has made us, you know, like, as women, to go through these things, you know, naturally, because eventually, you know, like, inshallah, women conceive and have kids, and this is the only way that is going to happen in the future.
They're in grade 3.
They're in grade 4.
Grade 4. Do they have health education on like the talk?
I think they're going to be starting soon, like
because I think
the health
they started back in 2008. I think they were starting it like in grade 6 or 7.
No, I think
probably earlier now.
Yeah, now they're probably going to start it this year.
Oh, that's good.
Around 3-4-ish.
That's good.
So I have been having like open conversations. It's an open floor.
Yeah.
They like, I'm not gonna keep it hush hush.
Yeah.
You know, unlike my experience.
Yeah. And for me, it was also because I came here when I was in grade 7, and we had like a whole documentary that was shown to us about period, about like, we had like a health class that talked about like period and like all these other fun stuff that came with health. And I remember the actual date I got it, November 5th, 2008. I don't know why. I'm like, this is a date we got to remember. And I just remember it. And obviously, it was painful. But then I knew, like, with that came attention. Because obviously, like, I got my period. Like, mom called, like, everyone back home. Like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah. And then, like, you know, the whole scrubbing part. Like, there are all these traditions that come with it. Yeah. And I felt great. I mean, yes, it was painful, but I do remember, like, okay, like, I'm part of the club now. Then, yeah, I wasn't scared. I did feel informed. thanks to one, having that documentary, and two, my nosiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Talha, at age 10. I think while she's talking about, like, obviously raising her girls to know about period and stuff, I have 2 boys right now. Inshallah, I'll have 2 girls in the future. But I do want to also have this talk with boys. Because obviously puberty for women, for girls and boys is completely different. But 100%. They need to know. They need to know why the sister's not praying in Ramadan. Or like, just in general. Or like why she's not fasting. Like forget, even if I don't have girls in the future, like cousins. Yeah. Like why are they fasting? They're fasting because they're on their period. Okay.
Yeah. Even that, right? Growing up, we, like anytime like our father or grandfather would be like, okay, it's time to pray. Like we would literally just quietly go in a room and sit because we weren't allowed to tell them that
there was shame
we can't pray. We
it.
Are on our period.
Yeah. I didn't get the shame associated with that part.
Yeah, I don't, again, like, it's like sharam ki baat, like you have to keep it on the down low. A lot of cultures I know, they label the woman impure and they don't let her do certain things that they would do on a normal day.
Just to clarify, we are also not allowed to pray.
Yeah.
Only do these things, but that's not because we're impure, but because God's like, yo, take a chill.
I was actually thinking about it the other day, right? I'm like, Allah literally has commanded us to take a rest.
Yeah.
In that time.
Yeah.
Okay? Like because he knows exactly what we're going through.
He made
us. And he's like, okay, something as important as your salah.
Yeah.
Like he said, okay, you need, like, this is your break.
And you're not praying, you obeying that command is you doing worship.
Exactly.
SubhanAllah, think about that.
When Allah has commanded us to take a rest, like how are we expecting women to get on with day-to-day activities and not even like flinching?
Yeah.
That, okay, like I'm on my period and, like I'm in pain, I'm going through stuff. It's like you just need to be okay with it because A, you're a woman and this is normal. Every woman goes through it. And B, like, you should be used to it now.
The worst part is like women not getting it. Yeah. And also like period for me was not as painful as it was for her. Okay.
Yeah, it still is,
like,
by the way.
Yeah, still, it's not, I haven't gotten mine for a few years now, but that's a different story. But still, like, every woman's experience is different. Just because you have it easy doesn't mean, like, if she's having a hard time, she can't take pain or, like...
Yeah, people think, like, oh, she's being very dramatic or, like, she's just over-exaggerating when it's not really that bad. But for some women, it is. It is, you can't standardize the experiences
you really
across
can't.
Women.
Talking about, like, the health education part that they are starting soon.
Yes.
Let's talk about sexual education. Like that comes under the umbrella of health education. I'm sure they'll actually go through that as well. And there's a whole like debate and protest and stuff happening in Toronto at least, or in Ontario, I think.
Yeah. I think in North America in general.
North America in general. Yeah.
People are opting out of public schools and preferring Islamic schools or homeschooling for that matter.
Yeah, but that's mostly because of the LGBTQ curriculum.
Yes.
And gender.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. Identification?
Yes, gender identification. Yeah, I feel like, again, sexual education is not just about talking about sex, right? It's about being aware of your body, body parts, having the autonomy of knowing what good touch, bad touch is, right? Even with your own family members.
100%.
Okay?
Because there are a lot of pigs in the family.
Yes.
If you're watching this, screw you.
The sexual education needs to start as early as toddlers.
100%.
Labeling your body parts
for
what they are. And, I actually tell my toddlers now that, like, labeling it, again, the right way, the right scientific terms for it.
Yeah.
And sometimes people roll their eyes and they're like, okay, do they really need to know at that age?
Or being so extra. Like,
I'm like, no, like, they need to know because that's the only way they can then set boundaries.
Or, like, come tell you, like, what is... if anything is happening.
Yeah, and you need to create that safe space for them and educate them from that age onwards that, what good touch, what bad touch is, who's allowed to touch you, who's not. And, like giving them the autonomy to make that decision for themselves.
Funny enough, so my son is going to daycare now, the older one. He is 2.5. almost, he's going to be 3 in Feb.
Yeah.
But I had, because there's so many like cases you hear like, you know, in Canada and just like across the world about daycare scaries and daycare like horror stories when it comes to sexual harassment or like physical abuse and whatnot. And I don't know, like it's such a scary time.
It is.
To be a mom. I feel like a lot of people, like maybe back in the day, didn't really think about this stuff because they didn't think like this is happening.
And you know what the funny part is? These things were also happening back then.
Yeah.
Okay. They were just happening it down low.
Yeah.
Even when it was happening, and even if people were aware of it, they'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah. Like for Kareem, especially like there were like times, you know, like he's going through like a big social development, social change, like, you know, going to daycare full time and stuff like that.
100%.
There was a week when he came back and like he was also sick, but you know, obviously a woman's head, I should say, just goes to like 1,000 different places and like trying to figure out like what's wrong. Could this have happened? Could that have happened? And in my head, that was a possibility. I'm like, is he like, because he was not freaking out, but like he would cry to go to school a lot, like. He was good for a few weeks, and then I guess I realized, okay, this is like permanent, and like he wasn't okay with it. But in my head, I'm like checking, like when I'm changing his diaper, I'm like checking. I'm like, are there things I need to be looking out for to make sure like something is not happening? Like, you know, that fear is there. And in my head, I'm like, okay, like he's not very verbal yet. So I'm like, okay, this conversation can wait like when he's older. And ideally, I would have liked to send him to daycare when he could actually be verbal and like, talk, but circumstances just didn't allow. But I'm like, I can still have the conversation with him because he understands a lot more than he can say.
Yeah, he can understand everything.
Yeah.
And he's also trying to communicate now in like, you know, other ways. And also like being verbal about things slowly.
Exactly. So I'm like thinking, I'm like, okay, no, that's like, I have to like think of all these scary things. I also have to kind of calm myself down because I'm like, okay, no, all their washrooms are open. There are like so many staff members. Like, you know, like I'm telling myself that's not a possibility. But it's not just for girls, right? Like that's my point. It's not just a thing for girls because guys also get
sexually
harassed or assaulted and whatnot.
Yeah.
May Allah protect our children.
I mean.
But I do also want to touch quickly. Yeah. I think a lot of people are sending their kids to Islamic school because of the LGBTQ addition to the curriculum.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe if you guys send your kids to Islamic school or if you know anyone that goes to Islamic school, chime in. Do they have sexual education or health education in Islamic school? I feel like they should. Because a part of them have to like kind of follow the TSB or the whatever
Ontario.
Yeah.
I doubt it though.
No,
but yeah, you guys can
because
let
they're
us know.
segregated too, right? Like the boys and the girls, like after a certain grade.
Yeah.
So maybe they do. Let us know.
I mean, I know. I'm pretty sure they have like health and fitness, but I don't know how much they touch on the sexual education part.
It's also about like, you know, like consent and like all these things. I remember this was like, we came here, 2008? That was what, almost 15, 16 years ago? Probably, do the math.
Yeah.
But teens, even early teens at that age were sexually active. I can't imagine this day and age where social media is rampant and like 13-year-olds are dressing as like 20-year-olds and whatnot. Like
it's crazy, man.
I feel like that's something, even in Muslim communities, okay? Like if you think Muslims aren't doing shit, open your eyes, please. So that needs to be a curriculum in both Islamic schools and just public schools, I think, because regardless of like, you can, the fact that because it's haram, they don't want to talk about it. It's like, why are we talking about it?
It's not even haram though.
No, zina. Like, you know, they don't want to talk about like you jumping into zina because it's haram, but like people are doing it. It's happening.
Yeah.
If they even do it, like how do you get them out of it? How do you like educate them on what they're doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's dark.
Speaking on that topic, obviously when both girls and boys are going through puberty, their bodies are going through a hell lot of changes. Okay, hormonal changes, emotional changes. You know, like they themselves don't know what's happening with their bodies. Like talking to them, having an open floor of conversations will, you know, help them be aware of their bodies and coming to us when, you know, they're going through anything.
Yeah.
You know, and especially I feel like, you know, speaking from a girl's perspective, like obviously when you start your period, you know, your body is going through different phases during that month.
Yeah.
Literally whatever you're going through now as an adult starts happening when you're like that age, like 11, 12-ish. So imagine like if a girl doesn't know how to maneuver those phases of her cycle.
Because at that age, peer pressure is also big.
Exactly, like
Not
you know,
just
they could land onto the wrong side
of the internet
because of
or friends.
internet now, which is like so accessible to anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
And then peer pressure, like she mentioned. So it's very scary, the world that the day and age that we're living in right now. And all the more reason for us to go all in about these topics and having an open floor.
Yeah, even with like being a boy mom, I want to say current boy mom because so status changes. I don't know the single thing when it comes to boys hitting puberty, what they go through, the changes that they have physically, emotionally, mentally, hormonally. I have no clue, but I need to learn.
All the moms watching this, I hope if you were to get one thing out of this episode, let this be it.
Have the talk
with your children.
But do your own learning first.
Yes, from a very early age.
Yeah. But it's also like not just do your own learning, because I feel like a lot of times how we grew up is like if parents don't have knowledge about something, they'll just be like, they will shut us off and they won't come talk to us about it because they don't know. Yeah. But like just tell your kid you don't know. Be like, hey, I am actually unaware, or like I don't have an idea about this topic yet, but let me go study. And we'll come back and have a conversation. It's okay to say you don't know.
Yeah. I feel like the situation, the life circumstances at the time were different for our parents. It was also like purely survival mode.
Yeah, but it was also like very culturally. I feel like our household was also like very family. There was a lot of family members that would pop in and out, have opinions, have like give their 2 cents. It was
that would really override the noise of, our very immediate safe spaces.
Yeah, didn't have an autonomy because, again, they were just women.
Influenced by all these noises.
Not just influenced, but like they would be judged or like they would be like kind of spoken down or like talked down to and stuff. And the males were like working outside of the home.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different topic and story. Wow.
Jumping on to, all these emotional changes that happen while a boy and a girl are going through puberty, right? So I started noticing that my girls were going through like huge emotional outbursts, which was out of the norm for them. I mean, yes, growing up, it was just the two of them for the major part of their life for like 7 years. And then came my toddler, who is 7.5 years younger to them. And so it was a huge shift from what they were used to. And I think a part of it was also them kind of getting used to that dynamic of it's just not them two, but also there's like other kids into the picture now. And so they were going through a lot of these emotional outbursts. And I, for myself, didn't know how to handle it. Like I would go into this rage mode, right? I would get really upset at them, scream at them.
And that's just adding to their elder daughter syndrome.
Yeah, shaping their character. But so what I did for them was I accessed therapy for myself and for them. Because for me to be able to regulate them, I needed to regulate myself. And so I went to therapy for almost a year and did the work. It obviously, like it's not like you go to therapy and then you're all good. It's still a healing process.
It's not a journey. Solution or medication. It's a tool.
Yeah. And it's not just a tool to fix yourself. It's a tool to know yourself, right? To be self-aware, to navigate these tough circumstances, situations that will come up every now and then, especially now that you're a parent and you have to like maneuver all these situations with your kids. So I feel like it's very, very important to be aware, number one, and then take that step to do the work on yourself.
Well, let's talk therapy. You mentioned introducing it to yourself and the girls. Let's give a little bit of context. When you went to therapy, I think it also depends on what stage of life you're in, or like what you're going through in life and how much of an impact it will have on you and stuff. And she was going through a hard time.
A major, major turning point in my life, I want to say.
Yeah. And before she even talks about it, I just want to talk about it first, and then I will tell you the difference I saw, even in just herself, like her physical being, and also just the conversations we would have, like how much of a difference I saw in pre-therapy, post-therapy. So how did you access it?
Okay, so alhamdulillah, I'm very, very blessed to have a workplace that offers therapy services
Muslim
to all their
therapists.
employees.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And we do realize that this is not something that everyone has access to, and it's expensive. Let's be honest. It's very, very expensive to access therapy.
It's like 100, 120 a session.
Yeah, exactly. For an individual session. And again, like Allah just puts you in a situation and the way things work out and He aligns everything for you. Like if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have accessed therapy.
Yeah,
because I wasn't in that financial
she's not
position
even
to
working
access.
in a field that's her educational field, or like where she even thought that she would end up. Like, think about that.
Yeah, like I come from a science background, and the job that I'm currently doing is nowhere near what I studied for. And subhanAllah, when I think about it, Allah puts you in a place
at the right time.
Yeah, right place, right time. We obviously don't see the wisdom behind it. He knows best. Oh, that's how I was able to access it, alhamdulillah. And before I even, jumped into therapy, obviously, like online, because I was going through that major transformation in my life, I had, again, access to social media.
But the right kind of social media.
Exactly. The social media is all about, it's a projection of you, I feel like. The more content you interact with, the more it's going to show.
Algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm, exactly. If you're on the wrong side, it's going to show you the wrong stuff. So alhamdulillah, I was watching the right things at the right time. So I had a bit of knowledge going into therapy and kind of knowing what I was going through in that phase in my life. And I feel like for me, for the most part, it was having that safe space where I could open up to, right? For about 10 years of my life, actually like almost my entire life, I was never able to process my emotions. I would shush myself down. Oh my God. I think
all my life,
I wasn't able to process my emotions, or I was numb to it. And finally, with therapy, I had that safe space where I could bring out all those emotions and have them validated by someone who didn't have a biased opinion about anyone or anything, and validate those feelings and emotions and create that safe space for me where I could open up. I still remember my first therapy session. I literally bawled my eyes out. And
so what did you like, how I think the structure, that's something I was confused about as well with therapy.
Yeah.
But do you just rant away? What do you do?
I mean, every therapist has their own way of dealing with situations. And the way my therapy worked was, she obviously needed to know what was going on in my life. She couldn't guide me.
A timeline.
Yeah, she couldn't guide me with anything if she didn't have the backstory. So the way the first, I want to say episode, the first appointment was, I started off with what was happening in the recent time period and just letting it all out, processing those emotions and feelings, and it was so, again, awkward for me to just bawl the way I did in front of, an XYZ.
Yeah. Wait, just pause it. Just to kind of go back, she has been an emotional person. I feel like a lot of people are emotional people. Yeah. But then she was kind of mocked at growing up, tu was emotional.
Sensitive.
Tu was too sensitive. Tu was emotional. Really, she never got that space to be emotional and be sensitive. And looking at that, I in turn was like, okay, that's something that I can't be or I shouldn't be. So I am the complete opposite. I don't cry at things I probably should cry at.
And it's funny enough because Allah has made us emotional beings. You're meant to go through all these feelings and emotions. It's 100% normal and natural for us to go through all these feelings. And the fact that, again, I was mocked at for the same reason. And for me to bawl the way I did in front of the therapist, I was trying to hold myself in, and she was just let it out. Just let it out. And when she created that space for me, I could just let it go.
Yeah.
I feel like, unloaded so much off of me.
Yeah, because
And I felt so much lighter.
Yeah, I mean, you would share stuff
know?
with me too, but it's different. Again, it's different when it's someone who's not in the immediate circle,
Yeah.
and like someone who's there to help you. Because I obviously like would try to help her as much as I could, but again, I'm not a professional. I don't have the right tools or the right things to say. Like I can just hear her and give her like biased opinion, like she was saying.
As the therapy sessions went by, you know, she knew more and more about my story and my history. And she would then give me tools to work through those feelings and emotions and circumstances. So that's the way my therapy was structured. And
how many sessions would you say it took you to be like, okay, I'm seeing a difference, or like I want to continue doing this, or like this has helped me even?
So I noticed a lot of changes in me from about like third or fourth session.
What kind of changes?
Itself. Before going to therapy, like I would always complain, you know, like look at the negative in a situation. But ever since, which is fine, you're ranting because you need to let it out somewhere. But
you don't know what else to do.
Yeah. As I went into therapy, like I feel like instead of focusing the energy on like the outside things or, you know, like people that are around me, I started shifting that energy into putting that work into myself, you know, doing the inner work, like they say. And that's where the shift really happened for me. It's like I realized that I can't change anyone or anything around me. The only thing that I can do is work on myself. And,
and how people reflect or react to that will change.
Yes, 100%. You know, like I start setting boundaries. I feel like I'm showing up as my true authentic self now because back in the day,
figuring out who you are.
Yeah, I was literally walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
You know, and now I realize that I don't need to be walking on eggshells. Like you are allowed to get upset about certain things if they upset you. You're allowed to let your emotions out as they're coming instead of, what do you call it?
Keeping it in.
Yeah, keeping it in or
like
just
bursting.
Not bursting, but like wrapping them up into something else when it's not that thing.
That's why I know she went to therapy.
But what changes did you see in me after I went to therapy?
I feel like we would have like a lot of FaceTime conversations, obviously.
Yeah.
So I would see like, again, I could feel the negative energy in the conversations, but not to say that she was a negative person, but just like, you know, like when you talk about the same stuff every day, like nothing's gonna change, obviously, but like you just have like, and it kept like adding, you know, like it just kept going up and up and up, and like she would be frustrated, I'll be frustrated for her, like we'll just be like like, you know, just like screaming or like how's this happening, like why is this happening, like oh blah 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 blah. You would just like be at it in those sessions, and then because I'm not the right person to regulate yourself or like want to learn how to regulate yourself. I'm not the right person to come. I'm more like, okay, let's go beat this person up. So after like, I feel like those sessions, the number of sessions that she took that helped her, I saw like literally a calm energy, like shut down kind of energy. So
people are probably gonna think I was possessed or something.
No, okay, but like that. But if you think about it, like even Islamically, like gratitude and just like a self-reflection is such a big part, and that
keeps you grounded.
Keeps you grounded. Also, it has an effect on how you show up and like the aura and the energy that you have around you.
Yeah.
When you're constantly talking about things that didn't go right or that are happening that are bad, or like, you know, like when you're constantly in that mindset,
the negative
the energy
mindset
is gonna be negative, right?
Yeah.
So I immediately saw it, not immediately, after a few sessions, I saw that shift in energy. I'm like, whoa, this is like she and her face, literally her face was like going from like, angry, you know, that face, like, to just like, okay, this is happening. Like she was collected and she was regulated.
And it's not like the situation around me was any different.
It was the same situation.
I was in the same exact situation, but the way I was showing up was so different.
She's like, yeah, well, that's gonna happen, but I gotta focus on me. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like imagine me in a bubble where it's like so much chaos and like disaster happening around me, but I'm still like standing still. I'm not going crazy.
Yeah, man.
Like that's exactly how I would
oak tree.
how I would describe it. But it did wonders for me.
I know you only did a few sessions for an hour, Elena, but Do you think it helps them?
For my girls, obviously it wasn't the same therapist that I was, going for myself. It was like a child specialized therapist. And my girls also have very high anxiety. They had social anxiety growing up. And so I really needed to tackle all those emotions that they had been feeling ever since they were toddlers, right?
Yeah.
Because it was never addressed. Again, I think because of my lack of awareness and for everything that I was told growing up, they're like, oh, they're just little kids. They're going to grow up and get over it. That was the narrative I had in my mind that, okay, like they're just going to get over this phase by themselves. But as a parent, I need to have the right tools for me to be able to help them to navigate those emotions, the anxiety, the emotional outbursts.
Yeah.
And so with their therapist, like they again had that safe space where they could open up to and share things that they wouldn't share with their parents.
Yeah.
And the therapist noticed that they were being like more open with her than they were with me or their dad. And and she also like kind of gave me tools to navigate those situations.
Yeah. I think also when it comes to girls, a part of like why they were going through some of the emotional challenges they were going through and the regulation was because you were regulated. You were going through your emotional challenges.
Yeah.
Let's come closer. Yeah. A mother's mental health matters not just for herself, but she is raising your kids or her kids.
The nation.
She's raising the nation. Like the kids have such an impact on how a mother's mental health is.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna stay with them. Trust me when I tell you this, it's gonna stay with them. And like even if she's healed,
yes,
those years that when she wasn't healed, they will stay with your kids.
And if they don't remember it themselves, their body does.
Yeah.
Their
body
nervous system does.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So the fact that, dude, my 1-year-old, okay, like obviously, these days, I still, cry about things and stuff. And I don't shut myself out anymore. I just let my emotions flow through, which is the healthy thing to do and not just shut them out. And so when I just let it out sometimes after my namaz or whenever it is, and if the kids are around me, especially the little one, and she comes to me, dude, she literally pauses. She literally pauses and runs to me. Is like, Mama, cry, tears. And she literally got a tissue the last time and started wiping my tears. And for me, it was like, I don't want them seeing that,
Because, like imagine like even if you see your mom like crying at this age, like we feel like, oh my God, like your shelter, like she is your shelter. And like if you don't live with her still, like the emotional shelter that you have, it's like my shelter's leaking. Think about it like that.
No, like 100%. Like because you are a mother, you need to invest in yourself.
Yes. Oh my
so
God,
you can show up better for your children. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah.
And
like let your kids see that. You're putting work in. Like they need to not know that, okay, my mom's always imperfect. Like, no, my mom went through a hard time. She worked on it. Yeah. And then that's where she's able to like be where she is. That's how we can go ahead with life.
Yeah. And I feel like even growing up, we never really saw just emotions flowing, right? Like for us, it was either like a high or like a drastic low. There was no like a healthy balance of just flowing of emotions. Now what I'm doing is like whatever I'm going through, like happy, sad, angry, like I communicate those feelings and emotions exactly for what they are with my kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like even when I'm frustrated, I label those emotions. I'm like, I'm feeling frustrated right now. Like I don't want anybody around me. Just give me a few minutes so I can, just calm myself down.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back with you.
Like one, you're regulating.
Yeah.
But two, you're also modeling.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell my girls, I'm like, it's okay for you to cry. It's okay for anybody to cry for that matter. I'm not saying don't cry. I'm not saying suppress your emotions, but there is a way to process those and deal with those emotions, right? That's what we want to teach them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Whew. Yeah, I feel like the energy is like we started off here and now it's like...
Oh yeah, definitely therapy. If I would think about it, try to see if you have any like free resources around you.
Yeah. Honestly, so many podcasts these days.
Yeah, or it could just start with like talking to a friend.
Yes.
You know, like
yes.
a lot of people don't talk to people because they feel like they don't know what they're going through, or like they don't want to nag, or like they just don't want to talk about,
Yeah.
or just like hop into our DMs. Like she's gone therapy. She's like a secondhand therapist at this point, and it's free.
Yeah. Honestly, like I would push therapy for anyone and everyone. I feel like everyone has inner work to do and wounds to heal. You know, childhood wounds. You know, your traumas that you're going through in your life. You need to face them. You can't just ignore them.
Yeah,
you cannot ignore them because
it will show up.
I ignored it. You know, hear it from me who has gone through it myself firsthand. I shut myself out for the longest time and I blew up one day. I literally blew up like a pressure cooker one day.
And people around her were like, whew.
Yeah, they're like,
"Well, this is not you."
Yeah,
like,
and I
well,
got
you never
call
allowed me
names.
to be me.
You know, I got call names because they started seeing a version of me that was not accommodating to them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? No. This is me, you know, like I'm done catering to anybody and everybody around me. I'm gonna show up as myself now. So
you better buckle in, or you better leave the car.
You pick what you want.
But yeah, that was the episode, you guys. Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you found this beneficial or even just entertaining.
Hopefully this episode helps you have some open conversations or start those conversations in your household.
Yeah.
You know, there's talking about therapy, there's also couples therapy, you know, for people who are going through marital struggles.
Yeah.
And, you know, that phase in your life. So there's literally resources for anything and everything around you. So
maybe that's something we can touch on, because I do think couples therapy is something that people should do even before they get married.
Oh, 100%, yes.
As someone who hasn't done it, but
yeah, I feel like if you ask me, you should do individual work, and also
there should be like
the couple
requirements to get married.
100%,
like,
yes.
Especially like, you know, like in the massages, like, you know, when the imam asked like, oh, the kubul hair part, like, how did you check this? And but why not?
Yeah. You know, I feel like a lot of
Indonesia, they actually do have that. A friend of mine was saying.
I feel like a lot of I don't know, these Muslim apps and stuff that are coming up.
Must match.
Or not apps, but like little organizations that are popping up. They are focusing on, you know, premarital therapy for couples.
I haven't seen it, but
I have come across a couple of them. And a lot of these, you know, podcasts and stuff that I listen to these days, they also talk about premarital therapy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could literally go on and on about therapy. So I feel like we need to cut it here.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and you know, we'll try our best to answer them, inshallah.
And let us know what else you want to see or like hear us talk about, because we love to talk.
We do.
And if you love to listen, let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our socials.
Instagram and TikTok. Yay.
All right. We'll see you guys again in the next episode.
Okay, bye.